Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another album review live painting. My name is Kiekli. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the series in which I listen to albums for the first time while painting out the concepts and themes of the album as the album goes on. So for this episode, we have Tyler, the Creator, Igor. Now, Tyler, I've been with him and Odd Future since the very beginning. Okay, since Tyler eating a roach in the Yonkers video, through the controversial lyrics, through him getting banned from Australia. I've seen it all, okay? And it's just been a journey to watch his growth, though, to Flower Boy, in which that is currently my favorite Tyler project. And so when you compare Tyler of Bastard and Tyler of Flower Boy, you get two completely different people. I'm so glad we were able to give him the space to grow, because we will have been stuck with a stunted, controversial young rabble rouser or whatever he was at the time, and we would have never seen the great musician that he is today. So I'm very excited to jump into Igor now, knowing what he's able to put out, as I've seen with Flower Boy. He's just been able to refine his sound and his personality in such a way that's been greater than ever before. And yeah, let's do this.
YouTube.com/Kiakili. We got that new Tyler, the Creator. And what he created was Igor. Let's get into it.
The album begins with Igor's theme. The long bass note in the beginning impulses the listener with an ominous feeling and gritty nature. The sparse lyrics on the track showcase an inference of emptiness and suspicion. The refrain was what caught my ear initially. Later in the album, you hear it randomly placed in two more songs, so I wanted to take this theme to the background of the painting. So here I am, painting a pattern of eyes, some of them with highlights in their irises, and more on that later. But my technique here is drawing the football type shape of the eyeballs in white, then erasing a circle from within them to create a simple, vector-like shape of eyes. And there you go. That's Igor's theme. The album transitions into his second song, Earthquake. This one is a little bit more of a somber record, but I'm in love with the synths and piano on this one. The chords are so lush and happy sounding, and in the chorus you can hear the GOAT, Charlie Wilson, lending his vocals.
Wait, is that Charlie Wilson? Yeah, that's Charlie Wilson.
The song is so catchy and resounding, and with this song we begin to hear the story of this album. With the opening lines, I get the impression he wants to take the relationship seriously this go around, or proclaiming his feelings as pure. The refrain has Tyler wanting to apologize to his lover, almost begging for their company. And this song, man, is accompanied by the perfect Playboi Carti feature.
Okay. Playboi Carti. He got Playboi Carti on
Here I just began a portrait of Tyler as Igor, and in my opinion, I feel like the actual album art has a lot of layers that I aim to build upon throughout this painting. Igor, he looks lost, he looks mangled, disfigured, confused, and broken. My own touch with this was making one of his eyes bigger than the other to give a cartoonish, fantastical look to it, making him more so akin to the monster Igor, or like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And so yeah, that's Earthquake.
Four.
The song, I think, sounds so much like Graduation or 808's Kanye. As soon as I heard it, I thought it sampled stronger because of the drums and the low synths especially are so similar.
It sounds familiar. This sounds like Stronger by Kanye. I don't know if it's a sample, but
Tyler finds himself being drowned in obsession over this lover. It goes from fun love to absolute fanatical, dissipated behavior. The line that best illustrated this to me was, "I'm your puppet, you are Jim Henson." Jim Henson being the creator of the Muppets. Tyler is completely throwing himself, allowing himself to be controlled and subsequently apparently manipulated by this person. So in this song, I began painting Tyler's body as a floppy puppet figure. I started with his torso in a suit, tried to give him a little bit of a hunchback akin to his Igor character again. So I wanted to give all of his limbs a floppy look to mimic the puppet I was trying to portray. It also to give a slight visual of Tyler's body in free fall, hence the "I think I'm falling in love" line. And so that's "I think."
Waste the bread, I need your attention. I'm off balance, I need some fiction. I'm your puppet, you are Jim Henson.
Running out of time, running out of time, running out of time.
Running Out of Time is a ballad of Tyler contemplating how much time he has left within the relationship with his lover. In the bridge, he asks the question,
Living in pretend.
This line I perceive a couple of ways. This could be taken as, are you living a fake life? Come out. It could also be taken as, are you living out your dream that feels like a fantasy? And both situations could be applied to Tyler's love interest as he says, take your mask off. So for this song, I simply painted a clock and put it behind Tyler. The clock strikes 12 o'clock to reference that there are 12 tracks on the album. I want to take it a little further to allege that maybe Tyler made it into a 12-track album to reflect every hour of the AM/PM clock to symbolize on each track the time he spent with his love interest. So that's just my personal theory. And so, that's Running Out of Time.
I found peace in drowning.
Sometimes you gotta close the door to open a window.
Woo!
New Magic Wand is probably my favorite track on the album. The bass is so sinister in the way that it rattles along with the evil laughing sound effects in the back of the mix. It honestly sounds like the theme song of a villain, or like you're entering hell. And that's what Tyler portrays in the lyrics. As aforementioned, this track sounds like Frankenstein has come alive and Igor helped to bring him out. He sounds discomforted by the actions of his love interest and his girl, but then finds comfort in his magic wand, making her go away. And he sounds murderous in the tone on the chorus, and it's kind of unknown if it's an actual magic wand and that this narrative is part of the fantasy world Tyler created, calling back to the question, are you living in pretend? Or maybe it's the real world and his magic wand is a euphemism for a weapon like a gun.
Is that Schoolboy Q?
So first, of course, I drew a wand in Tyler's hand. And then after that, before the song begins, there's actually a line from an interview Tyler had with Gerard Carmichael, where Gerard states, sometimes you gotta close the door to open the window. That in particular caught my ear on the second listen, but I feel like it's a short line that packs a lot of meaning into the album, referring to the idea of closing a door that is a relationship to open a window of growth that has sunshine and a beautiful view outdoors from the other side. So I built the frame out of the window first, and I wanted to make it a beach scenery because that's what came to mind in terms of a nice view of a happy ending. And boom, that's New Magic Wand.
Hold on. Why was that song so hard?
You so motherfucking dangerous. You so motherfucking dangerous.
Wait! That's the Yeezus Bound sample.
A Boy is a Gun features my favorite sample on the album. While listening to the first time, I caught that it was a sample that I actually heard before. The theme of this song is Tyler coming to terms with the fact that his love interest, or possibly the relationship as a whole, is becoming harmful for him. He likens his love interest to a gun, but however it's a double entendre because owning a gun, the gun being his love, makes him feel safe, but at the same time, What if the gun is pointed at Tyler? And so for this painting, I started with a basic looking shape that is a hand grasping an object. I did some slight shading on there. And then on top of that, I painted the gun. The gun is shiny, just like how his love once looked, but it's still dangerous to him. And now it's pointing at Tyler. And so with that, that's A Boy Is a Gun.
Yo, that sample is beautiful. Oh my. Yo, the way Tyler flipped this, it's like Kanye, bro.
The track Puppet builds upon the Jim Henson line that was mentioned in I Think. This song illustrates a manipulative relationship and Tyler being aware of his situation. With this person, he feels trapped and like he's under their control. It's an interesting dynamic because it's possible that Tyler, he's letting himself be controlled as some sort of paradoxical idea of love, or rather maybe he's showing a form of Stockholm Syndrome. Then later on in the track, a special guest appears.
Is that who I think it is? Hold on. Nah, I'm pretty sure that was Kanye, bro. You see the hat. Hold on. That's Kanye!
And as hype as I got in this clip, I wasn't really sure what to make of Kanye's verse, as it was pretty hard to hear him, and it seemed like he was just freestyling. I have no idea. But anyways, this part of the painting is kind of interesting. This part, I painted the other hand of the love interest as a puppet master. I started with some guidelines to lend myself some direction for the fingers, because as many artists know, drawing hands can be super hard. So at first it looks like some weird spider looking contraption, but once I added the shadows and the fingernails, it started to look more like a hand. I finished up with adding some more highlights to define the fingers, then I added the puppet strings from the fingers to Tyler to complete the imagery. And so, that's Puppet.
I have no idea what Kanye's saying, but maybe it's better we don't know what Kanye's saying. We don't want another incident.
The next song, What's Good, has to be the zaniest, otherworldly track on the album. This one sounds like a musical mood swing. The track journeys into 2 or 3 other parts with abrasive synths and head-smashing bass.
Hold on!
Tyler is finally seeing the relationship for what it really is, and he starts to turn away. This is why I painted some of the eyes in the background with light reflections in them. And so the painting for this song was more so structured around the sound of it. The distorted mix of the instrumental and perceived loss of sanity within the screaming vocals made me want to add a bit of a glitch feel to the piece. I took a distortion textured brush and painted on the pink background. This here gives the painting a duality. The vengeful megalomania of Igor's broken mentality caused by an ended relationship is juxtaposed with the peaceful bliss of a new beginning thereafter. And that is What's Good. The songs Gone Gone, Thank You, and I Don't Love You Anymore kind of coincide with the same concept. Tyler has come around and finally declares that the love he has for this person has faded. For this, I went and created a rip through the painting to symbolize the rupture of the relationship as a whole. This rip is like a black hole, and it tears in between the love interest's hands, cuts through the strings attached to Tyler's limbs except for one, and overall it's a gash within Tyler's entire love microcosm. It's reminiscent of any type of heartbreak or relationship trauma that cuts deep into your life and is hard to stitch back together.
I feel like it's the first time we're hearing Tyler's real voice.
The final song, Are We Still Friends, has Tyler singing with dry throat vocals and what sounds like a post-breakdown, begging the question to his former lover if a friendship is still a possibility. This track shows that even though Tyler proclaims his love is gone, he isn't ready to let the person go away from his life. For this, I painted a bandage to symbolize a meager fix to heal the uncurable pain of heartbreak. This track is a sharp emotional hypocrisy that plagues the withdrawal process of any serious loving relationship. The instrumentation sails the album off with a crescendo firework of guitars, drums, and synths. And so when you play the album on repeat, you can imagine Tyler running back to this person or another and starting the love cycle all over again. Thinking about the character Igor in the context of the album, Igor is a fictional character who typically serves as an assistant to Dr. Frankenstein or Dracula. So within this album, I feel like Tyler's mind is becoming the obsessive, fanatical Igor, assisting his physical body in creating a monster out of himself. The process of his emotional and mental deterioration is subtly interpreted through a linear progression from start to end. Every lyric matters. Lyrics from early tracks are referenced on later tracks, and so each detail on this album was carefully crafted. I have to say, this album is an auditory mosaic of a relationship that had its ups and downs, but just wasn't meant to be. This is Igor by Tyler, the Creator.